Why are there Jews? First of all, many of the Jews who oppose the state of Israel say that they only oppose the policy of the Israeli government and not the state of Israel. But this is enough for them to sometimes join hands with terrorist organizations. So in the end, we see that there are Jews who actually turn against their own people. And my question is, this is a different kind of hatred, different kind of antagonism than the one we see in other nations. In other nations,
there is no such thing in other nations like what we have.
What is unique about Jewish hatred, self-hatred, compared to hatred in other nations?
We hate the Jews within us. The Jew within us is that desire that says, let's unite. Let's rise above our ego and show ourselves and the entire world how we can live in peace, tranquility, and in embrace and connection. And this will be the correction of the entire world. This is as if what the Jew in us wants to say, but we don't even want to listen. Only Kabbalists that study the wisdom of Kabbalah, where it precisely says about that, for thousands of years, they're the only ones that really know what is written at the very essence of our Torah, that love covers for all crimes and love another as yourself is the great rule of the Torah. And therefore, only Kabbalists, which is a tiny minority of the entire nation, are the ones that understand this and are concerned with it. All the rest only blame the Kabbalists and don't want to listen to them and only want to do to be engaged in their egoistic businesses, engagements.
But why would they hate it? I mean, unity is such a beautiful message. Why would they hate it and so strongly?
It is a beautiful message until you start realizing it, but once you start realizing it, you start seeing how impossible, practically impossible to keep it is, and it demands of a person his entire attention, his entire life, his entire everything. And this is something that people don't want to do. They're not ready. They're not ready to do it either. You need a very special kind of education, or, God forbid, tremendous suffering. That then people will agree to concede their ego and come closer to each other.
I can look at a person who, say, climbed the Everest, and it's almost an impossible task. And I would say, this is not for me, there's no way I can do this. I would maybe admire that person. Maybe I would feel indifferent, but I wouldn't hate that person. Why, if this task is so difficult to do, almost impossible, why should it make them hate it?
But if that person who's climbing the Everest, were he to bring you and all your friends, even the entire world, would bring from there some 100-kilo diamond that will be sufficient in order for everyone to live peacefully in happiness and everything. And that person doesn't want to climb. He doesn't want to. He doesn't even have a real reason. Halfway through, he decided that that's it. He doesn't want to continue, and he's the only one that can do it. How would you relate to that person? He says, it's hard, that's not for me. Send someone else, but there's no one else, only him. We're in the same situation. Only we, Jews, can cause the world to be connected with the force of good that exists in nature, and this way to bring the entire world tranquility, peace, good.
Some Jews will go there and get the diamond, and the rest will stay down. Why should those who stay down hate the ones who go up?
They don't go up. No one goes up. It's impossible to do this. For this, you really need the entire nation, more or less, has to connect and to want to reach that diamond, to reach that world happiness. They have to do it in order to give it to everyone, to share it with everyone. You see, that's why it's not that simple. But anti-Semites, I understand them. This is the law of nature that exists. And due to it, do we exist? Because of it, Jews that do want to reach the goal. I grew up in a society in which I completely, at first, didn't feel that I'm any different. I felt as a part of that society. Then, around the age of 15, more or less, maybe when I was a bit older, I started feeling the hate, rejection. And then, I started thinking about Zionism.
But the temple wasn't ruined because of the anti-Semites. It was ruined because of our hatred for each other. Why, if I...
Right, but hate between... Of course, between Jews. But what kind of Jews who hated each other? That a part was in favor of connection and the other part was against connection. For us to live like all other nations.
If I'm a Jew who is against unity, why should I hate those who are for unity? Why not just leave them alone and let them unite? Why should I hate them?
No, it's an ideology. It's not simple. This is ideology, and we have to all be in favor of it. It says so in the Torah, that we have to be as one man and one heart, that all of us have to unite, that all of us have to open ourselves to the entire world. And the other half, or the other part, said, no, that's in the past. We don't have to talk about it anymore. It's not a big deal if we let it go altogether. And altogether, why can't we be like the Romans or the Greeks? Look how well off they are, and everyone respects them or afraid of them. Why not come closer to them?
Exactly. That's the point. This is what they try to do. They try to become like the Romans, like any nation or country where they go. They try to assimilate.
Today, you also want to be connected to the United States, yes, to the powerful.
Besides the desire to assimilate, there is also hatred for their own people.
There is hatred toward the ideologically. That's it. It's ideological hatred. You can go to that synagogue in the basement of that church, and if you connect to them, if you unite with them, you love them, they love you, no problem. Everything's according to equivalence of form. Here today in Israel, you see, according to the protests, according to the marches, according to everything, you have representatives from everything you have in the world, we have right here in Israel.
It seems like there's a different kind of ideology here. Because if I'm a capitalist and someone else is a socialist, so we can have different views, we don't have to hate each other. We can have disagreements, but we don't have to hate each other. Here, there seems to be something deeper.
Of course it's deeper, because here these are also spiritual forces that are involved here, that if I support the unity of the nation, saying that everyone has to unite by way of love covers all crimes, that unity is above everything. No matter what happens, our connection is more important. And you're saying, what connection? We have to be like all other nations. We have to try to be, like others are, like other people in the world are. And this really destroys our nation. I really see it this way, that We're not a nation that we can't survive without our connection, because we are a collection and a gathering of all those ancient nations that lived back then in Babylon. And then either there's disconnection between us, we lose connection to our root, and our situation is truly grim, or we go for connection as the representatives of those nations from ancient Babylon, and then when we connect, we draw upon ourselves the reforming light, the upper force that connects us, and then we're well off, and the rest of the world, we give them an example, and they are too. So here, we can't be in the middle.